You've worked hard to save your money. You've skipped the impulse buys, cut back on takeout, and maybe even sacrificed a few vacations. But if your savings are just sitting in a regular bank account, there's a silent threat working against you: inflation. It's invisible. It's constant. And it slowly erodes the value of your money over time. So if you're asking yourself, is my money safe from inflation? The truth is, unless you're actively protecting it, the answer is probably no. In this video, I'm going to show you how to inflation-proof your savings. We'll cover tips, bonds, and some smart alternatives that most people ignore, or haven't even heard of. Whether you're saving for retirement, building an emergency fund, or just want your money to stop losing value, this video is for you. Let's start by understanding the problem. Inflation. It means prices go up over time. That $3 coffee? It might be $3.50 next year. A gallon of gas, groceries, rent, healthcare, everything tends to get more expensive. And if your savings aren't growing fast enough, you're losing money. Here's a quick example. Let's say you have $10,000 in a savings account earning 1% interest. Inflation is at 4%. At the end of the year, your balance is $10,100. But what you can actually buy with that money? That's dropped. In terms of real-world value, you've lost about $300 in purchasing power. Multiply that over several years, and it becomes a serious issue. Now, let's fight back. One of the most effective tools is something called TIPS, Treasury Inflation-Protected Securities. These are bonds issued by the US government. Their job? Keep your money safe from inflation. When you invest in TIPS, the principal, the amount you invest, adjusts with inflation. If inflation rises, your investment grows. If there's deflation, it drops, but there are protections. TIPS pay interest twice a year. And the interest is based on the inflation-adjusted principal. So if your principal goes up, so does your interest payment. Let's say you invest $1,000 in TIPS. If inflation rises 5%, your principal is now $1,050. And your interest is calculated from that new amount. You can buy TIPS at treasurydirect.gov. Or you can invest through ETFs or mutual funds, like the Schwab TIPS ETF or iShares TIPS Bond ETF. One heads up though, TIPS interest is taxable at the federal level. Even the inflation-adjusted increase, which you don't get until maturity. So they're better in tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs or Roth IRAs. Now let's talk about bonds. These are another US Treasury product, and they've become very popular recently. Why? Because they offer a return that rises with inflation. Here's how bonds work. They have a fixed interest rate, and a variable inflation rate. The inflation part updates every 6 months, based on CPI data. When inflation is high, bonds can offer very attractive returns. And unlike TIPS, you don't pay tax on the growth until you cash them in. That means you can defer taxes, potentially for decades. Now, there are some limitations. You can only buy up to $10,000 per person, per year. Plus, another $5,000 with your tax refund. You must hold them for at least 1 year. And if you cash them out before 5 years, you lose 3 months of interest. Still, for many savers, bonds are one of the safest, smartest moves right now. Low risk, inflation protection, and deferred taxes. So what's better, TIPS or bonds? Well, it depends. If you want regular interest payments and you're using a retirement account, TIPS may be a better fit. If you want tax deferral, simplicity, and can lock up your money for a year or more, bonds might win. But let's say you want even more options. Let's go over a few inflation-resistant alternatives you should know about. First, Series E bonds. Not inflation-adjusted, but here's the trick: hold them for 20 years, and they're guaranteed to double in value. That's about a 3.5% return annually, guaranteed. If you're patient, it's a solid inflation hedge. Next, real estate. Property values often rise with inflation. And if you're renting it out, you can adjust rent as prices go up. real estate can also offer tax advantages and long-term appreciation. Of course, it requires more effort and risk, but it's a strong inflation fighter. Then there's the stock market. Yes, stocks are volatile. But over long periods, they've consistently beaten inflation. Companies that sell essential goods and services, like food, healthcare, utilities, they often have pricing power and can pass higher costs to consumers. That protects their profits and your investment. If you're closer to retirement, consider dividend-paying stocks. They provide regular income and potential for growth. Now let's talk about something more advanced, inflation-linked annuities. These are insurance products that provide income for life and adjust for inflation. They aren't for everyone. They come with fees, and they're complex. But for retirees looking for guaranteed, rising income, they're worth a look. Okay, let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? Inflation is real. It's constant. And it chips away at your savings every year. But you don't have to just sit there and let it happen. You can protect your money. Tips: I bonds, EE bonds, real estate, dividend stocks, and yes, even annuities. There's no single best option, only the best option for your goals. The smartest move? Don't put all your money in one place. Diversify. Stay informed. And match your tools to your timeline. If you're saving for the short term, I bonds or tips might be perfect. If you're building long-term wealth, stocks and real estate should be in the mix. The key is to be intentional. Don't let your money lose value year after year. Take control. And if you're not sure where to start small. Buy your first I bond. Move some cash into a tips ETF. Talk to a financial advisor. Every step you take now helps protect your future. If this video helped you out, do me a favor, hit that like button, and subscribe for more no-fluff financial guidance. And drop a comment: are you using tips or I bonds? Are you fighting inflation in another way? I'd love to hear your strategy. Thanks for watching. Stay smart. And I'll see you in the next one.